What's good, guys? This is Nightwing2303 from WearTesters.com. Today we got a quick detailed look at these guys right here, mostly my thoughts on the Adidas Harden Volume 3. So aesthetically speaking, something that I normally don't talk about, but with these guys I kind of have to because they're very, very plain. A lot of people will say on a lot of signature sneakers, those look generic or whatever. I don't normally agree. These guys though, I mean, you kind of got to admit it, like they're so plain and just toned down compared to the last two that I just really I don't know what the hell they were thinking. But after trying them on, I will say that I'm very excited and very intrigued to play in these things. That outsole, first off, just looks awesome. There's no gimmicks to it. There's no weird data-driven storytelling traction pattern that we've had on the last two models, even though the first one I thought was great. The second one, not so much. This one though, they went away with all that bullshit and they just put herringbone on there, which I think is awesome. The coolest part is this little section right here at the outrigger where it changes the herringbone's direction. So for lateral movements, it's gonna aid you in stopping a little bit quicker than just having that normal like front to back herringbone on there. The only downside to something like this is that it's very, very soft rubber. So if you play outdoors, you might not want to grab these just for longevity purposes. And then on top of that, all of these grooves are very, very, very close together. So they're pretty tightly spaced. If you have a lot of dust in the gym or whatever you happen to play at, it could end up clogging these things up. But those are the only two like concerns that I see with this stuff. Other than that, I think that this looks like it's going to play fantastic. Boost is back and it is kind of like in between the Volume 1 and the Volume 2. The Volume 1 is very low profile, which I like. The Volume 2 sat quite a bit higher than that, which I did not like it, but I didn't also love it like I did with the first one. This guy is kind of like that happy medium, which I think is going to appease most people that were on one end or the other with the first two models. So what you're going to get here is plenty of impact protection because we're talking about boost, and then also they're still keeping in line with that court feel, which I think is very important. And I think this is what boost is great for, is that you can get very low to the ground without losing a ton of cushion. And instead of caging it on one side like they've been doing, they left almost everything exposed except for that lateral section, which is right where you need it. So I think that's great. Got this elastic band right here, which I don't know what it's there for, because on lateral movements it's going to stretch with your movement. So I don't think it's for that. I think it's mainly for that feeling of, you know, clamping down on your foot and stuff like that, because realistically it's not doing anything. It would have been awesome had they went back to that toe cap that they had on the first one. I think that would have been sweet, and it would have added some depth to this very, very, very plain design. Now, two things that I really love on these are like not performance features, but they are on the tongue and on the heel, and it's the leather that they use. I think that's fantastic. Nice raw leather. You can actually see that underneath there, and I like the way that they implemented the James Harden logo on the tongue as well. It's kind of like clamped in there, so it's not going to rip or fall off or any of that kind of stuff. You can smell the quality of that leather as well, and I wish that that was somewhere else. I wish that that would have been this elastic band, maybe have it be a leather band or something, just because these two areas are the only areas that are technically premium. So the difference though is that there's two different versions of the shoe. There's this model, which is 160, and then there's another one that's 140. We have a performance review on those available right now over at WearTesters.com. So if you're interested in checking that out, head over there. We're going to leave a little thing that's going to pop out right there. And the reason why there's a price difference is because the material difference. That's the only difference between the two models. So the cheaper version is a basic textile mesh. It's kind of got that knit look to it. It's thin, it's lightweight, it'll be breathable, all that kind of good stuff. For 140, it's not bad. And then for this guy right here, the premium version is 160. And what I will say is that the material is very close to what they use on the LeBron 16. So what Nike calls Battle Knit 2.0. I actually don't know what the hell Adidas is calling this, but whatever it is, it's a knit, and it's super thick. It's going to be very flexible on your foot while still being pretty durable as well. So that's the only difference between the two. So for what, $20 more, you get slightly better materials on the upper, but that does not equate to better performance. As far as fit is concerned, these guys I went true to size with. I've gone true to size with the previous two as well. The original James Harden shoe, the Volume 1, I did think that they were slightly long, so those you could have gone down half a size. The Volume 2 felt fit perfectly. I thought that those actually, like, the fit was one of the best parts about the shoe. This guy I feel exactly the same way, but in a different way. The Volume 2 was a compression like fit, so they felt super tight. These guys, they just feel good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but when you put your foot in there, it just feels right. Like, it feels awesome. It feels the way that you would like your basketball shoes to fit, or at least mine. Something I do think is really weird though is that collar area. It reminds me a little bit of the Air Jordan 4 where they were low tops, but they kind of rode up in the heel, except that these guys like exaggerate that by a lot. The interior lining is what they call the cat's tongue. It's supposed to like grip your sock so that if your foot slides up, it's going to be coarse. They did that in the original Crazy Light Boost 2016, so it was a cool feature, I thought. So that's pretty much all of my thoughts on these guys right here prior to playing in them. I feel like they're going to be a great shoe to play in. I just don't like the price point for what you're getting, especially the aesthetics. I just think that for 160 bucks, I expect a lot more, at least better colorways, which I'm sure they're coming out with. I do like that purple colorway. I don't know what they're called, but I think that those look cool. Now, I did ask people on Instagram that I wanted to know what their thoughts were, so we're gonna head over there somehow. Let me figure out how to do that. You want to read them?
Yeah, I want to. Do I say?
Holy shit, there's a lot. Okay.
Do I say who they are?
Yeah, go ahead. So I'm gonna have my wife read your comments or your thoughts. Make sure that they're thoughts on the shoe though.
So not a question?
Not a question, just like I want to know what other people are thinking about these. And then I'm gonna do my commentary.
Your reaction to their comments?
Yeah, I'm just gonna like, you know, like give my thoughts on their thoughts.
Okay. George G42 says they're minimalistic, efficient, but ugly. Not but ugly, but they're ugly.
Well, so it's kind of like that girl that's at the club. You know what I mean? Like, you know how like, what do they call him? The Duff?
Oh, we didn't watch that.
Is that what it's called? Or is that a dude?
No.
Is a Duff a guy or a girl? You know how like, it's a joke and it's up, but like, you know how like in a group of chicks, there's always like that one kind of like,
That's what this
That's what
is?
these are, yeah. Which I agree with. I don't think that these are ugly, but they're definitely on the like, they didn't try, I think, to do really anything other than give you a performance shoe, which can be seen as both good or bad. It depends on your point of view. Some people have like a preconceived like what a signature should look like, although they can never describe that. It's just like when you see it, you see it. You know what I mean? And these are not it. This is one of the first times when I actually agree with people when they're like, oh, those look like they're just a generic Adidas, because we've seen stuff like this from Adidas and we've seen them retail it at 80 bucks. You can't slap a Boost midsole and be like 160.
Micah 32 Mitchell says best.
Hold on, redo it because I was like mad dogging the camera. I was just trying to look to see if I could see the time, but I can't.
Micah 32 Mitchell says best hoop shoe since Kobe 6. Calling it wishfully thinking.
Possibly, because when I put these on, they feel great. Like I just, everything about them screams like, yo, these are gonna be a sleeper, like a sleeper hit. It's just that 160.
What would you have priced
This at 130.
And the gray?
Huh?
The gray shoes.
Oh, with the cheaper materials?
Yeah.
130. Look, if you're gonna
at 130?
Look, if you're gonna change the materials, that's on you. We never see that from other brands. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Who do we see that from?
Your Kobe's come in all kinds of different textures.
And do they change the retail price?
No.
If you're a brand and you're like, yo, like we're gonna put this on the shoe, price it. Boom, that's it.
Okay.
Don't with me and be like, hey guys, this one's nicer than that one, so we're gonna charge you more. That's a dick move, dude. You know, like, come on. Do they do that with other Like Nike does that with their what do they call that? Their premium or whatever, like with the soldiers and stuff like that, and like they'll put like a suede or a leather. That's bullshit, dude. Like, don't do that. That's up. That's a slap in the face to whoever might want the sneaker. That is not a good way to treat your consumers. I'm just saying. When the Air Jordan was nubuck or leather or durabuck or whatever, like between colorways, the shoe was just priced at what it was priced at.
Anthony Salgado says, I like the look, particularly the little design on the strap.
This little signature.
Yeah.
With the plus sign all over it. I think it's cool looking. That's the only like, I wouldn't even say designer, but like the only like signature touch. You know what I'm saying? Is this and the tongue. That's it. Everything else looks like it could be, like you could have called this like the Alpha Bounce and nobody would have said anything. You know what I mean?
Matthew Thurman would like to know how you feel about the large tab on the heel. Like, was it comfortable when you put it on?
This?
Yeah.
Just from a try on, yeah. But I haven't moved like in it. I don't expect it to really jab in there, although I don't think I would be surprised if it did either. That's a little excessive, but at least that's doing something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't look like all the rest of their shoes. So it's, I don't know.
Duck Tam Nguyen said he played in these for 4 games this weekend, and he said the traction was not good at all on a dusty court.
Oh, for real? Well, I'll find out soon enough. That would suck, because I love herringbone. It could be just because it's tight.
He also said, though, he sent in you a couple things.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he said that it's the best boost implementation for a hoop shoe, in his opinion.
That's something that I could just feel just from trying them on. Like it feels like not, it's that Goldilocks thing. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. It just feels like it's gonna appease the majority versus like,
yeah,
going so far extreme or so far minimal. It feels like it's like right, like they finally like found that middle ground. So that pretty much takes care of it for my thoughts. That takes care of it for some of your guys' thoughts. There's way too many like questions. Like I wish that I could do like, maybe if you guys want, we could do a whole like what you guys think. Just let me know down below in the comment section. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the performance review. So until next time, guys, have a good one.